Why even good ideas can fail? Because to some extent, the startup CFO doesn't play the right role. Not in every of those cases. Actually, in those three cases, I know what the startup CFO did. However, if you look at the cases, you can see that it is related to financing, why these companies failed. And let's start with Quirky. And Quirky is a great idea where you can vote on product ideas and so on. And I mean, this company raised 185 million US dollars, so quite a number. However, they didn't really have a margin, and that caused liquidity issues. So again, what we said at the very beginning, look at your cash flow statements, try to have an understanding on your cash flows, on your potential working capital and so on. And only if you do that, you also know that margins are right or not right, and then you have to pivot your company. They probably tried that all. However, still, you see, also great ideas can have liquidity issues. Zirtual, which is a virtual assistant, it's human assistance for full-time employees. So for people like you have daily things to do which you tend to forget, well, which I tend to forget, you probably don't. And I can have a virtual assistant who helps me, like, did you pay this bill? Did you call your mother for the birthday and all sorts of things. And they raised not too much. I mean, compared to the 185, only 5.5 million. But the former CEO basically said, yeah, overstaffed without matching demand. So it just didn't fit. So remember, when we talked about the business plan, especially consistency. Consistency has to be there. If you do not have consistency, or if one side is too high, the other is too low, you're going to run into this problem. And if you're not strategically flexible, and we're going to get to that point, you probably have a big problem. And the last one, HomeJoy, which you can see over here, raised $40 million. But that was basically not enough. I mean, that is an on-demand home cleaning service. So, I mean, scaling up that service is difficult. And you need to really be into B2C businesses and how to get the customers and the customer value versus customer acquisition cost versus customer value and all sorts of things. And then you can easily run out of money, and even the 40 million probably was not enough, failed to raise enough funding to really grow the company as big as they wanted. And it shows that even good ideas, I think all three ideas are really great ideas, interesting ideas. They can fail because of financing issues. And this is also what the statistics shows, which you can see on that slide, that financing issues can be the reason for startup failures. For sure, it's in many cases it's market or might be technology, but running out of cash is 29% reason for startup failure. 18% is pricing cost issues. So not really having the financials in order, especially this running out of cash. I mean, this is a liquidity thing, and you know now you can think about that in advance. So have your liquidity in order and think about financing rounds long before. Then you might not run into these problems as a good startup CFO. So it's don't underestimate as a startup CFO the careful liquidity planning and your budgeting processes. Which leads me to the point of the 5 pitfalls I've seen from CFOs, which I think you shouldn't run into. And I'd like to elaborate them more and just show you the list of the pitfalls right now, which is not including a liquidity buffer in your budget. So paying careful attention to that. And there are examples where it is difficult. The second one, losing strategic flexibility. The third one, mismatching finance and expense structure. So these two sides, you remember what I just said. The fourth, underestimating the role of business angels. I think this is also a pitfall. Startups run into VC financing too early and putting too much hope into the investor's maybe.